Okay, so it's the final video of the year. Thank goodness. I really don't enjoy filming these. I wanted to tell you two quick things about last week's assignment. The first is that I really liked the more flexible thesis statements. It also led to more flexible discussion, which was really awesome. And I also really liked how you worked on ending more with your ideas rather than a late quote, or by talking about the author. You are way better at talking about the so what at the end of your paragraphs. And that was really, really awesome because it makes you stand out as the writer, which is like really the whole point, right? This week you only have two things going on. The first is that you study. Test is on Wednesday, so it's coming up. So just study. I give you a couple hints on what you might want to do for that in this week's assignment. And then I am just going to ask that you take pictures of the mock exam and send them to me. And there's instructions for that as well on this week's assignment. But I wanted to read you something real quick. Normally I give you guys like a secret note to open right before the exam, and I can't do that this year. So instead, I'm going to read you the letter that you usually find in the envelope. And if you want to read it because you learn better that way, awesome. And if you would like to listen because you learn better that way you have either way. To my dear AP class of 2019-2020, I hate that I can't be with you right before the exam. Normally, this is a time of great celebration where we can come together and enjoy some fun after a long year of working our tails off. I am so sad to miss this precious time with each of you. I'm sure you are feeling nervous. In an hour, it will all be over. So just a few reminders and words of encouragement before you take the test. Remember to read the essay prompt carefully and make sure you know and understand what they are asking you to do. Perhaps even have a cue word at the top of your page or pages to remember what your job for the essay is. Remember, this year you get to have notes, so it might actually be a really good idea to write that word. Like the last one might have been, like, let's say it was the Thatcher one, that idea of the spirit of being American or something. If that was what you wanted to focus on, you could have that on a card on your notes right next to you so you remember what your focus is supposed to be, because you'll be nervous. Okay, you will feel rushed, but make sure to take a few minutes to write a thesis and plan your essay around what the prompt says before you actually start writing. Just allow yourself a couple minutes to plan, because you don't want to get into the middle of the essay and say, oh no, now I understand it. Remember when you kept doing that in August and September? It's a bad habit to get into. You're not doing it anymore, but we tend to fall back on it when we're nervous. Go back to the text and provide proof from the reading. You need direct quotes, you guys. None of this like paraphrasing stuff. You need direct quotes. You need a variety of them, sometimes little quotes, sometimes bigger quotes. So always go back to your thesis and discuss your assertion. Think about that so what element. So your whatever is that deeper purpose in your thesis is also the deeper purpose of your discussion. And that's also the so what. It's all three the same. So make sure you're hitting all three of those things when you write. Have a direct and clear thesis that varies the language of the prompt. Just don't repeat exactly word for word what the prompt says. Develop an argument and don't just summarize. Even if you're surprised by the prompt language, you need an argument. You need something that's a deeper purpose of the text. Try to have a moment of inspiration and passion for the prompt before you begin writing. And this is the number one thing that I find distinguishes a 5 or 6 from a 7 and 8 is that passion, that intrigue, that moment of inspiration, that you have something to say and personality in which to say it. So try to get inspired, even if it's something that's not inspiring to you, try to get inspired. Use vocab and style. Remember that you can have notes this year. So you're not allowed to use like programs on your computer. In fact, I think Grammarly. You can't even submit if you have Grammarly on your computer, but it is allowed to be open notes. So if you have technology, you can have a separate technological device that has those notes that we've been working on here for vocab, for style, for things that you can lead in or lead out of, those like connections that we worked on. You can have all of those out in physical copies on your note cards, or if you were one of the ones who was typing that instead, you can have your notes out on a technological device instead. So it's a huge benefit, and I would absolutely use it this year. And it does sound like spell check is okay this year. From what I can tell, it sounds like they are allowing you to spell check. So spell check. It's like a silly thing not to. Okay, remember that every rhetorical analysis essay has a purpose and rhetoric. Don't forget to have something specific to prove about the purpose. And sometimes remember they'll hint at that purpose in the introduction of the piece, and sometimes they won't. Sometimes you'll have to come up with it on your own. So see if you can figure it out if they give you a hint, and if they don't, you might have to come up with it on your own. Just remember that's one or the other, and I've seen both styles. Okay, so when you feel brain dead, try to force yourself to focus. I realize that it's an hour, but it's a grueling hour, but really, really try to just force yourself to be there and be present and be taking the exam. The hour is over so quickly, and the effects are much longer living than this hour is. Okay. Then don't freak out. We have been practicing for this all year. You guys are ready, and you will be superstars. I've said it before. I'm particularly grateful for this AP class. This is a very strong class, and I absolutely believe that you have the power to knock it out of the park on this one. We have practiced so much, you guys. Like, all we have done is practice, and you are prepared. Even if it feels scary, you are prepared. You have unique things to say. This is a cool class in terms of variety too, and you have so much perspective to give. So allow yourself to tap into that. You have insights and things to share, and I believe in you. Good luck, and I'll see you on the flip side, which unfortunately is probably next year. Yay. But I'll tell you that I don't like ending the year this way. It's a total bummer for me that this is how I get to say goodbye. In my AP class, you have to be pretty vulnerable, and I have to be pretty vulnerable with you. I have to share my own writing. I have to hear what you're thinking about the class and get that feedback, and it's not always things that I want to hear, but it's what's best for me to be a good teacher to you. I have to rely on you to share openly with the class, and in order to become better at discussion and better at writing and better at those Socratic seminars, which in turn make you a better writer. And that means that you had to be vulnerable too. So I get pretty close with you over the course of the year, and I hate that this is how I have to say goodbye. But I do know that I'm going to miss you, and I know that this is temporary, and I absolutely believe that we're going to see each other at some point next year. So until that time, have a great summer break, and good luck. Email me, tell me how it went. I'll be dying to know. And I truly, truly believe you're going to be awesome on this test, okay? I'll see you as soon as possible.